Hello everyone and welcome back to another video of the Star Wars Bros. And today I will be reviewing the newest Clone Wars episode, Shattered. And since this is a review, it will naturally contain spoilers. So if you have not seen the episode yet, I highly recommend you go watch it. It is probably some of the best Star Wars content I have ever seen. But without further ado, let's get into the video. Alright, so the other day I watched the newest Clone Wars episode, and I know Disney said that the episode right before that one, The Phantom Apprentice, was gonna be the best Clone Wars episode ever, but this episode somehow managed to one-up that one. I don't know how they did it, but the newest episode, Shattered, is somehow better. Like, I don't know how these episodes keep doing it, but they're consistently getting better. Now, going into this episode, the first thing I noticed was the music. The music was beautiful, and it set the tone perfectly. Like, at the beginning of the episode, when, Darth Maul gets captured, you'd think that would be a good thing, right? Because Darth Maul is the bad guy, and he's getting captured, so wouldn't that be a victory? But the music lets us know that something terrible is about to happen, and we shouldn't start celebrating yet. And of course, something terrible does happen. Order 66.
Execute Order 66.
Yes, Lord Sidious.
Now, we all knew this was going to happen eventually. Order 66 came in. I don't know if anyone was surprised that Order 66 was going to be in this, but I can't say I was happy because Order 66 was in this episode, because it was definitely one of the sadder parts. But when I saw Palpatine say, execute Order 66, I knew that I was in for a ride. Like, oh my gosh. And then Captain Rex's reaction to having to execute Ahsoka is awesome. Like, because the inhibitor chip in Captain Rex is forcing him to try to kill Ahsoka, but we see his reaction. Like, he has to, because the inhibitor chip inside his brain is, forcing him to, but he can't. Like, of course he tries to, but, this is, one of the hardest things he's had to do. Like, it's so hard to watch him try to kill Ahsoka when he's been friends with her for years, and then he has to try to kill her because of this order. I also love how this episode conveys emotions without the characters talking too much. Like, when Ahsoka is saying goodbye to Bo, of course they say goodbye, but, their expressions on their faces mean, so much more than that. Also, I really love how this episode tied in so well with the Order 66 arc that happened a couple seasons before it. That arc was probably one of my favorite arcs in this whole series, and I love how this episode perfectly tied it in. And it makes sense because this episode is all about Order 66, and so is that arc. I also love how they brought Fives into this episode because he was one of my favorite clone troopers, and it was so sad when he had to die. But I really loved how even though he was dead, he was still able to contribute to, this episode, and how Ahsoka was able to find out what Order 66 was, through him. But another thing I just flat out loved about this episode was Darth Maul. He is another example of characters not needing to say many words, but still drawing all of our attention. Like that scene where Darth Maul is walking through a hallway and just wrecking all of those clones was maybe one of the best things about this episode. It brought me all the way back to that scene in Rogue One where Darth Vader is walking through the hall and wrecking all of the rebels. Those scenes are so identical, and I need more scenes like that. Hallway scenes are just the best things ever, and I want more, honestly. But yeah, that scene was very enjoyable. I love Ahsoka's and Maul's interactions, even though they only talked to each other for one scene. I thought it was cool, Ahsoka freed Maul, but still wanted him to die, you know? She just needed him as a distraction and she wasn't actually like trying to help him, you know? That was very fun to watch. But speaking of Rogue One, another scene I found very awesome was when Ahsoka chants the I am the Force and the Force is with me thing, and then she puts her hand on Commander Rex's head, and then he starts to chant it, and then like chanting it in unison, and then that helps them find the inhibitor chip in him, and they could free him from needing to execute the horrible Order 66. And this episode ended on such a haunting note. Like when Ahsoka asks Commander Rex how widespread Order 66 is, and he says all the clones have to execute it. We already knew that all the clones had to execute it, right? Because of Revenge of the Sith. But hearing Rex say that is just so... it's horrifying, honestly. And then I also really loved how they handled the Order in general. I love how it focused a lot on like how Ahsoka reacts to it and how she has to like sneak around everyone to avoid getting shot at by her own clones. That was very cool. You know, there was a little bit of comical relief in this episode, like when Ahsoka is talking to all the, you know, R2 units and they're all like, you know, beeping away. And that was a little out of place, but it didn't take away from the very dark theme of this episode. But overall, I really enjoyed this episode. You know, it was very entertaining to watch. It played on my emotions. I've had very few jaw-dropping experiences in my life, but this was definitely one of them. This episode, it took me like a full minute to just recover from the initial shock that was this episode. Like, so much happened in it. There's so many like references to episode 3. I just find this so amazing. There's just so much stuff to talk about in this episode, but if I were to talk about it all in this video, it would make it a breakdown video instead of a review video, so I'm not going to go into all of it right now, but if you want me to, leave a like and tell me so in the comments, and I will make a breakdown video of this episode. And with that, I say goodbye. Now, I will be making my next video hopefully around Monday, because that is actually when the next episode will drop. It's not going to be dropping on Friday. It's going to be dropping on May 4th. No coincidence. And yeah, it'll be dropping on Monday. I'll hopefully have a review out by Wednesday, so you can expect a review to come out around Tuesday. And then yeah, on Monday we will get the last episode of the Clone Wars. I am honestly not ready to say goodbye to this series. It is just such a good one, and I have had so many fond experiences with this particular series. I have heard rumors that Disney might continue the series, but I mean, I don't really see that happening. But yeah, I'm not ready to say goodbye to the Clone Wars yet. Hopefully I'm ready by Monday, but I'm not gonna be happy if I have to say goodbye to my favorite series. But yeah, with that, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.